Biafra, The War That Changed Nigeria Season 2, Episode 19. The Battle for Owerri. By early 1968, Owerri had become one of the most important cities in the war. News traveled quickly through villages, markets, and churches. People whispered about advancing troops and possible battles ahead. Families continued daily life, but uncertainty hung over the city like gathering storm clouds. Traders sold food, children attended school, and worshippers filled churches. Yet everyone sensed that history was moving closer. Military vehicles appeared more frequently on surrounding roads. Across the region, attention slowly turned toward Owerri. Few realized that the city would soon become the center of one of the fiercest and most memorable chapters of the conflict. Military preparations intensified around Owerri. Engineers strengthened defensive positions while soldiers dug trenches and improved supply routes. Day and night, activity continued across the surrounding countryside. Trucks delivered equipment and provisions while officers inspected key locations. The city was preparing for difficult days ahead. Though resources were limited, determination remained strong. Every trench, every supply depot, and every communication line became part of a larger effort to protect the city. Across villages and towns, people watched these developments closely, understanding that the future of the region could soon be influenced by events unfolding around Owerri. Inside command centers, military maps covered tables illuminated by lantern light. Officers reviewed intelligence reports arriving from different sectors. Every update brought new challenges and difficult decisions. Leaders studied strategic routes, defensive positions, and supply lines with intense concentration. The atmosphere was serious but disciplined. Discussions often stretched late into the night. Across headquarters, there was little room for complacency. Everyone understood that preparations made today could shape tomorrow's events. Though uncertainty remained, planning continued with determination and focus. Despite growing concerns, daily life continued throughout Owerri. Markets remained active as traders sold food and supplies. Churches welcomed worshippers seeking hope and encouragement. Families gathered in homes, discussing recent developments, while radio broadcasts carried news from across the region. Though uncertainty persisted, resilience remained visible everywhere. Neighbors supported one another. Community leaders encouraged unity. Across the city, people balanced fear with determination. Life continued because it had to. Yet everyone understood that the approaching days could change everything. As military activity increased around Owerri, reports of enemy movements became more frequent. Soldiers remained alert while commanders reviewed intelligence updates. Across defensive positions, preparations continued relentlessly. Convoys moved supplies toward critical locations while scouts monitored developments along major routes. The atmosphere grew increasingly tense. Though no one could predict exactly what would happen next, there was widespread recognition that a major confrontation might be approaching. Across the city and surrounding countryside, anticipation and determination grew side by side. As tensions increased around Owerri, soldiers worked tirelessly to strengthen their defensive positions. Trenches stretched across strategic locations, while supply units transported food, ammunition, and medical provisions. Long hours under the tropical sun tested endurance, but determination remained strong. Many of the defenders understood the significance of their mission. They were not merely protecting a city, they were defending homes, families, and communities. Officers moved between positions, encouraging troops and reviewing preparations. Though uncertainty remained, morale stayed surprisingly resilient. Across the defensive lines, a shared belief emerged that perseverance and unity would be essential in the difficult days ahead. Beyond the city, military movements continued across multiple fronts. Long convoys advanced through forests, villages, and winding roads. Dust rose behind military vehicles as soldiers traveled toward strategic objectives. Reports of advancing forces spread rapidly through nearby communities. Villagers watched convoys pass while wondering what the future might bring. Across the region, awareness grew that Owerri could soon become the center of major operations. Though uncertainty clouded the horizon, preparations continued on all sides. The conflict was entering another critical chapter, and events were beginning to move faster than ever before. Inside Owerri, ordinary life continued despite growing tension. Markets opened each morning, and churches remained filled with worshippers seeking comfort and hope. Families gathered around radios, listening carefully to updates from different parts of the region. Every new report sparked conversations about what might happen next. Though fear occasionally surfaced, resilience remained stronger. Community leaders encouraged cooperation and unity, while neighbors supported one another through uncertainty. Across the city, people understood that difficult days could lie ahead. Yet they also believed that courage and faith would help them endure whatever challenges emerged. Within headquarters, strategic discussions intensified. Intelligence reports arrived continuously while officers analyzed changing conditions across multiple sectors. Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu met regularly with senior commanders to assess available options. Large maps covered tables illuminated by lantern light as military leaders reviewed routes, supply lines, and defensive plans. Every decision carried significant consequences. Though the challenges were considerable, determination remained unwavering. Across headquarters, leaders focused on preserving stability and preparing for future developments. The defense of Owerri had become increasingly important, and careful planning would play a critical role in the days ahead. Eventually, the long-awaited confrontation began to unfold. Military activity increased dramatically as forces maneuvered across strategic positions surrounding Owerri. Reports arrived rapidly from different sectors, while commanders worked continuously to respond to changing conditions. Soldiers remained focused despite exhaustion and uncertainty. Across defensive positions, determination remained strong as preparations transitioned into active operations. Civilians followed developments closely, hoping for safety while supporting one another through difficult circumstances. The battle for Owerri was no longer a possibility. It had become reality. A new and decisive chapter in the conflict had begun. As the battle intensified, Owerri became the center of constant military activity. Reports arrived from different sectors as commanders worked to respond to rapidly changing developments. Defensive positions were tested repeatedly, while supply units labored to keep essential resources moving. Soldiers faced long days and restless nights, yet determination remained visible throughout the defensive lines. Across the city, civilians listened anxiously to radio broadcasts and exchanged information with neighbors. Though uncertainty persisted, many believed that endurance and unity could overcome even the greatest challenges. The struggle for Owerri had become more than a military contest. It had become a test of resilience for an entire community. Even during difficult moments, remarkable courage appeared throughout Owerri. Medical workers cared for the wounded. Community leaders encouraged cooperation, and families supported one another despite uncertainty. Markets operated whenever possible, churches remained places of hope, and neighbors shared whatever resources they could. Across the city, ordinary people displayed extraordinary resilience. Though challenges surrounded them, they refused to abandon their determination. Acts of kindness became symbols of strength. In homes, churches, and marketplaces, the spirit of the people remained unbroken. Their courage reminded everyone that resilience often shines brightest during the darkest moments. As weeks passed, Owerri became a powerful symbol of determination and endurance. Though the city faced enormous challenges, its people continued adapting, supporting one another, and moving forward. Military leaders remained focused on defending critical positions while civilians maintained hope despite uncertainty. Across the region, stories of resilience spread from village to village. Owerri had become more than a location on a map. It had become a symbol of perseverance. The battle demonstrated that strength is not measured only by weapons or numbers, but also by courage, unity, and the refusal to surrender hope. History would remember Owerri as a city that refused to fall. The battle for Owerri became one of the most remarkable chapters of the Nigerian Civil War. As military operations intensified and uncertainty spread across the region, the people of Owerri demonstrated extraordinary resilience. Soldiers defended strategic positions, community leaders encouraged unity, and ordinary civilians found strength in one another. The story of Owerri reminds us that courage is not only found on battlefields. It is also found in homes, marketplaces, churches, and communities that refuse to surrender hope during difficult times. History remembers those who endure, and Owerri became a symbol of determination, resilience, and perseverance in the face of overwhelming challenges. What lessons do you think modern generations can learn from the battle for Owerri? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this episode of Biafra, the war that changed Nigeria, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more powerful historical documentaries. Follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Watch out for next episode, The Siege of Umuahia, coming soon.